Alrighty, hi guys! Welcome back to my channel, Chatty and Real. Alright, so today the topic that we'll be discussing is the birth rate decline in Jamaica, right? I had to make some pointers, right? Because this topic, it easily carried away. So I had to make some pointers so I can stay on track and I get too distracted or not, because I have a whole lot of opinion on this. But anyways, guys, how have y'all been? Like, what have been up to? Miss me? I'm not sure how much you miss me now because like my subscribers not going up. So, anyways, guys, make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe to my channel, right? Yes, I mean that's what the people. What kind of comfort behavior this? Like, I don't like this for us. Okay, we live in the tropics for a reason. Tropics is supposed to be warm. Okay? But it's supposed to have a sweater business and a leggings business and a socks. But then upon all of them something there. So guys, no ear spray and none of them something there. So global warming, I don't like this for us. Anyways, before we jump into the topic, let's do some icebreakers. Alright guys, so the first icebreaker is would you date an ex? No, 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 no. No, I'm gonna go at this one. Separation and baggy transfers. No. Anyways, so the next one is if you had an extra hour daily, what would you do? Why am I just sleep, I just feel like enough hours not in the day for me getting a rest. What I sleep? What you would do? I mean, figure out a way to make money, but for me, I know how tired I am and how hectic life is, but I rest. I take the hour there and get some duly needed rest. Yeah. Um, if animals ruled, which would you be? What? Jesus Christ, I read me carry guys. Sorry about that. That's not what it says. It says if animals ruled, which would be the worst ruler? Hmm. Animals ruled, which would be the worst ruler? A puss. I think a cat would be the worst ruler. Cause them lazy and like I think they would be bossy and lazy, right? So them just want you to do all of the work and then relax and enjoy the benefits. Me not like them. It make slave drivers. So yeah. Me saying that I've had a cat as a pet before, right? But yeah, cats tend to be like lazy. Them always want a lounge and all of them things there. So yeah. What's one thing you're surprisingly good at? Um, surprisingly, not surprised. I'm good at a lot of things, I would think. But I'm very, very good at doing projects. My bad, projects like kids projects, like solar system and all of that. Like I'm very creative when it comes to stuff like that. I mean, I've always been good at it because I used to do it for my niece and my nephews. But I don't know. I'm not surprised. Surprisingly good at frying chicken because I love cook. Barbecue chicken, yeah. Anyways, people, how the cold front at you to know how has it been since I've last spoken to you guys? What's up with you guys? No one tell me. No? Alrighty. So let's jump into the topic at hand. The topic, as I stated before, birth rate decline in Jamaica. How do you feel about that? And the Minister of Health wanting people to reproduce, wanting people to have more kids given the current state of things, right? How hard it is, how expensive living is. Cost of living is so high right now. I think it's at an all-time high. Like how all of the things that will happen, like global warming, outbreaks, all of that, and they're still expecting. And I do understand that declining birth rate affects the economy, but what also affects the economy is having one bag of pitney and can't feed them. However, let me not jump the gun. I made So the reason for the pointers, gonna get it now? Yeah, guys, I'm very passionate about this. So alright. The first one that I have on my list is expenses before the baby is born. Right? Because people make it look like, oh, what's the born baby have to eat? Miss, you have to take care of the baby from in the belly. The mother has to survive in order for that baby to live. So the mother has to do a good job taking care of herself and her health in order for that baby to come out being healthy. Right? So guys, don't mind me a job, make me have a little cold. I don't know, like the cold front and everything. I did never feel good before this, so all of that. But I decided I wanted to make this video because I don't understand why I understand why they're pressuring the issues, but they're not pressuring the causes for the issue. You know what I mean? Like, we don't raise a peer, like, we don't implement stuff to make people want to have kids. Once again, me a stray, guys, I'm ADHD. Bring it back, Tanya. Right? So, the first point that we're on is expenses before the baby is born. Guys, and the thing is, a lot of people don't even want to go to clinic, and a lot of people can't afford the time that it takes to go to clinic because a clinic is a whole day business, right? Anything you have to do in the public healthcare system, it's like you have to just get up early and know, say, yo, me dedicate the whole day to this. You can't go with expectations to say, I'm getting through and then I'm going to go to work. That is a no-no. You have to just take the day and say, yeah, this is what I'm going to do. So going to clinic, people don't have the time. They can't afford the time. They have to go to work. So it would be quicker and easier to make an appointment with an OB, right? OBGYN or obstetrician and get your checkups and stuff. But that is expensive. And a lot of the healthcare that you receive, right, from your job doesn't cover going to the doctor for an OBGYN, right? And I guess there are little ways. Sometimes some doctors might take it as a doctor visit and you pay the difference, but not everywhere you go that they will do that, right? And I mean, if you're sick, you miss work, that means you miss getting paid, right? You have to change up your diet, you have to get clothes, you have to go for your regular checkups, ultrasounds, blood work, all of that stuff. You know what I mean? Like, you have some people when they're pregnant, they're so sick, like work is not even an option, right? So you telling people like make it so like, oh, you can just go have a pity them. Having kids, I think, and that's the issue that I have, or a lot of people have unplanned pregnancies, and that's why we're in situation that we're in now. So many unplanned pregnancies and people growing up and suffering. So because of that, people don't want to pass on the trauma. The people don't want to re-experience that. So people afraid to have kids because they're like, oh, it was so hard when my mother did have me and I raised me. You know what I mean? So people, anyway, let me not stray. Yeah. So the second topic that we'll be jumping into before we stray is where is it? Healthcare and how understaffed and under-equipped they are. Right. The healthcare system is so understaffed and under-equipped, right? So bad, right? Um, and like I don't think we have enough healthcare facilities in Jamaica for the public, right? And I do understand that it's free, but free don't mean bad in every case, right? They're understaffed and the staff is underpaid. That equals bad customer service, long wait time. You have to be sitting there in agony. You know what I mean? No, nobody really cares because you're just doing the bare minimum to go home. Because the pay to them don't worth it, so them not push the effort. And while I get that, I also feel like if you don't want the job or the job isn't paying or you're not getting what you want out of it, leave it. You know what I mean? Don't take the job because you want a job and you want the money, but the money is nice. So when you come in to the bare minimum of the job, or you don't meet the expectations or the criteria of the job when dealing with your customers. Because customer service in the healthcare system is shite. Horrible, man. Bad, 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 bad. If a bad taste in a people mouth, people who can do better, go to get public health care, right? And and they're understaffed as well, not just they are understaffed because sometimes you got like if you go Jubilee in place there, you never go there and the place don't pack. It's not overcrowded. Imagine in a COVID when there's an outbreak and all of the people there, like no wonder it spreads so fast, right? And under equipped. Like they never have the equipment they need. Every time you go there, if you do a test, if you do this, they have to send you here, send you there. If there's an emergency, chances are by the time you reach, them have to send you to get the test is done. God forbid, you might not make it because them something never work. And then not have it or the machine them down or one out of the many work. Like stuff like that, and then you want to tell people, oh, have babies. Have a baby and put myself at risk. Imagine me have a baby already and you want to tell me to get another one. And I'm supposed to go get pregnant to have another baby to help build up the birth rate. If put myself at risk to leave the one I already have. Ridiculous. Anyways, let's not stray, guys. We're just touching on them. And if you guys want to go in depth, then we can have a conversation based on the comments in another video. Right? Third one is Third one, yeah, we're on the third one. Minimum wage not being able to cover everyday expensive. Oh my God, this touched me to my heart. What you mean? Minimum wage cannot pay my bills. It cannot cover my bills. I can't afford to cover my bills and go back to work. So in order to go back to work, I can barely pay my bills. I have to save money to go back to work. And you want to make have a child? Do you know how expensive school fees are? I'm not here. And that's just school fees. Don't talk about like cost of living, going to the supermarket. Like, guys, I don't want them to go somewhere and take $15,000 and come back with enough grocery. Try that now, no? Go supermarket. I'm spending 40 something thousand a week in the supermarket. And when I go under, would I top up stuff here and there? And don't tell me, say, oh, because you can't afford. No, no, it's not because you can't afford it. It's because of that it costs out there and you have to pay for it. Right? One day you're gonna say, oh, me not go to the supermarket, me I got told. And it don't make much of a difference. God bless for you save. You understand? And y'all out here telling people to have kids. Do you know the price for formula, for diapers, for wipes? Jesus Christ, God forbid that one boy pick me have. Do you know the price of boy pick me clothes? Every time we go to one store for the buy clothes to my son and we compare it to the little girl them price, I just said, Jesus. Sometimes I feel like catch up him ear in a two and college a day and put him in a two dress. Cause no, I don't mean that cause you see, all the world around now you can't run them serious joke there with the kids, cause safe out here. Scratch that. No just to my son. But on a serious note, guys, cost of living is so high and expensive, and minimum wage cannot cover people's expenses. Um, Minimum wage is what 16,000, 17,000, if that, right? Imagine fare in a town now. It used to be $100, $200, $200 for fare, $200 from Crossroad for God town. Everything is raising, but no one's all have kids like. The PRAs to take care of the kids, because if I'm making $16,000 and I'm barely for as minimum wage and I'm struggling to take care of one, I go get one other one that are two, and the pay are still $16,000. The other one eats. Who take care of the other one? You like see what me I say? These stuff aren't making sense. You have to implement things, put things in place to make people can make more money, to make cost of living easier for people in order for them to be able to afford these kids that you want them to have. Once again, I'm straying. Fourth point is how unknowledgeable and unequipped government is to assisting kids with special needs. Me alone realize how much kids with special needs, or not to know like autism, how prevalent it is now. Like when I said them things I said about, but and maybe it was that we didn't have the knowledge, so we weren't aware. So we just thought kids were weird or whatever the case. But I just feel like there's way more now than before. And what I find is that the public isn't knowledgeable about it, like people aren't educated on it. And the government institutions that they implement to assist people that need help with kids with special needs, they aren't knowledgeable, they aren't equipped to provide any effective assistance. It's almost like they're using them learn as them go, right? So they're not able to offer any effective help, right? So they have 1,000,001 institutions open to say, oh, these are for special needs. But when you go there, they them can't offer the real help because them really and truly they don't have the knowledge and they know what they do. They just up the department, right? So imagine you tell me if you could get pregnant or me have one baby with special needs or two. 'Cause we have twin and triplet and them something there, right? Um who helps with that? Where do I go? Where do I get help? And not to mention how expensive getting them assessed is. Not to mention how expensive. I look it up online and I see a special needs school, 200 and something thousand a term. A term is like 3 months. A term, and it's 3 term in a year. Nearly $1 million for send a picnic at school for 1 year. How much people can afford that, right? Y'all need to do your research on that, and then you open proper facilities to have a proper assistance, something will actually effective. Don't just have open the department, they're gonna put people in there for work and say, oh, these have special needs. If you don't know what it is that you're doing, still ineffective. You understand? And so you know out here tell people have all these kids, but you have nothing in place for when people have kids and what comes with having these kids come into place. Like who helps them? So essentially not set them up to suffer or set them up to have it rough. Anyways, once again, yes, true. 5. The statistic of being teenage parents and single parents, right? Y'all out here telling people, oh, have kids. Nobody, me not hear nobody else say, oh, Planned Parenthood. You know what I mean? So y'all out here preaching and encouraging people to have kids. Kids listen, and you have kids out here who think them are adults. So that means, okay, then so if I have picnic or picnic shop, make a breed up. We'll take care of that. Who want to take care of the kids? People out here having kids just to get pregnant and when it get rough. Because pregnancy is rough, pregnancy is literally a life and death situation. Not everybody that goes to give birth comes back home with a child or a child comes back home with a parent. It's not safe out here, it's rough, and then the healthcare system is under-equipped and understaffed. So a lot of times people don't survive childbirth is due to negligence, right? But we're not talking about stuff like that. Oh, the birth rate is declining. Okay, the birth rate is declining for a reason. It's declining because of all these stuff. People out here are scared to have kids because there aren't proper systems in place to help them for when they're having and have had these kids. Have to implement and upgrade all of these things. Just to tell people to have fitness, so. Back in the days, me used to, growing up, me used to hear them say, oh, picnic after mine. Who mine? You? Oh, right? So, an increase in birth rate means an increase in a lot of single parents, a lot of statistic of being teenage parents or teenage single moms. Like, we take all of them something into consideration, right? But not even going into that too much. And the other one is the fact that the increase in birth rate would be done by lower class Jamaicans. Stick a pin kind of one here, that one me. Mm-hmm. Look who get in at this. Cause y'all out here, oh, have kids, have kids, have kids. Upper class have kids. And if they do have kids, how many kids? How much? But you know, out here I encourage people. Poor people don't know say only the matter have kids. You know, only the matter to build up the birth rate. Just to make it clear, only the matter. When tough time come out and tough time upon, oh, the birth rate is declining and it will affect the economy, blah blah. I only the matter. So no, I know, and the people them with the money we can afford it. I don't know. I don't know. We have to go up on parts. I uno where una have to wait for the look of free medical when I back to school time. I uno we are praise to the people them have to keep treat and give back so they can get the free bag and something them to help when the baby go to school. I uno where I forgot what you call it? My allergies, sorry. I uno where I forgot wait for the book voucher them from the MP and write to the letter and something and wait for them to left the envelope for the collect it for can go to KB bookstore go pick up on a picnic them book list with one can get from it and one of them myself to get pregnant miss. I one of them I talk to. And I talk to them friends them who have the big lawyer job and the big doctor job and work at university and own them own business. The people they not have more than one and two kids. Cause guess what? They have to ensure that they set up these kids get a higher level of education, and these kids replace them in the future and run the country. So then can't afford to come breed up like like we, right? But yet still already a suffer, already a pressure the government system and not only the matter of have more kids. Because it feels like a burden to the government when you got all of the government facilities or institutions and you see so many people, right? Ask for the bare minimum like assistance and the hoops that you have to jump through to get the help that they say they put in place for you and the kids that they want you to have. No, is that not something? Anywho, where am I? Where am I? Where am I? Yes, cause you know, and it goes to middle class too, because middle class people tend to have a few kids as well. Well, maybe not as much as the lower class, but the middle class are really far from the lower class, right? But I have a couple more points here, so I don't want to stray, so let me catch up on them. Yeah, can make sure someone is straight from the point with me I make, right? So I'm still there in it. Right? Because tough tough that not have more than one or two in the most, You know that? These people, upper class people, don't have more than 1 to 2 kids, the most. When you do find the ones that might have 3 or 4, you have like, you know, it's mostly middle class and lower class will make up the population. Like the birth rate currently for what it is, and mostly like people not out here breed up, people have head on them shoulder times hard. It's modern days now. People have access to technology. People want stuff with their life. Everybody wants to be able to travel and live their best life. Um, People want to have collaterals. Nobody, especially this generation, they don't want to work for anybody. Nobody want to be their own boss. How are you going to be an entrepreneur and be your own boss if you have 3, 4, 5 people to maintain and take care of? You have to go work for the man. You have to get in a line and you're going to have to pull your big girl panties up. You're going to have to go work a 9 to 5 because those babies have to eat. When you have 1 or 2 pitney, somebody might be able to sit them and say, oh, let me help her come to the girl and try to build up herself. But you go with 3, 4, and 5 pitney miss. Hey, when baby about for hungry and one day something, me dear, the baby about hungry and walks up the baby night out at night and where? I can't sleep. You can't tell the baby so you not have it. You can't tell the baby that. Baby don't understand that. Right? Yes, it's people, don't get me wrong. Not saying not to have kids, and I do know that it has an effect on the economy. But I'm also saying having kids and them not being able, you not being able to support them, you not being able to send them to school to get educated, you not being able to set them up for the future to get good jobs or get higher education to put them in a better positions to come help themselves is also a burden on the economy, right? Everybody come, how much people can go to and go work in a in a wholesale? How much? How much people can own a little shop? How much people can do here from in a them pan them veranda? How much people are gonna run taxi? How much people are gonna do them something? Right? Everybody just like, and this is what I'm saying. Just as how y'all want better for your kids, the lower class don't want to remain the lower class forever. And this is why the rich stay rich and the poor stay poor. Anywho, I have one last point to make before I move on with my life. And this tip the icing. Because I was talking to somebody and they made this point and I'm like, you don't really think about it. Like it's facts. Like the prime minister homeschool his kids. Yeah, he homeschooling kids. And I thought about it. I'm like, homeschooling is not a bad idea because it would be less expensive because you not worry about school fee and stuff. But then I'm like, how many people can afford to homeschool their kids? Because homeschool mean you have to be there to teach them. And if you're home, that means you're not working. And chances are, if it's a lower class family, more than likely it might be a single parent. Which then means if you're the only parent, that means you're the only breadwinner. And if you're the only breadwinner in your home, no money is coming in. There is no income. The kids might not be at school, but they still have to eat. You have to keep a roof over them head. Food have in the house. You have to pay for the Wi-Fi. You have to pay for the light. You have to pay for the water. Who does all of that? And I would think that there would still be a curriculum we probably would have to get from the ministry. So you still have to do the books and all of that. Right? Right? And if you're homeschooling them and you don't want to do it yourself, you have to pay somebody to come do it. How expensive is that to get somebody to come? Maybe I should look that up. But I'm pretty sure that's a pretty penny. Right? But yeah, on have a baby then because the birth rate decline and they're so cute. They smell so brand new when them just born, look at you baby smell. Yeah, look for her, yeah, have them up man. Right? Because like I don't understand how because y'all, and the state of the economy is what's causing people to not want to have kids. But yet still, you're saying to have kids to build up the economy. So I'm also here. So you have to provide jobs, proper health care, um, better benefits and assistance, be knowledgeable, be educated on certain special needs and stuff like that. And once the economy or the environment is conducive to being pregnant, for making people want to be pregnant, then the people automatically have kids, right? Because the economy that they're living will be able to sustain that. But you can't have kids knowing, say, oh, you might have a child with a disability, and if you that should be the case, then that child will suffer. Because I don't like say you get to put in orders. This is not Burger King. You can have it your way, You get what you get, and you don't get to complain, and you don't get to give it back. All you can do is do the best you can with what you've gotten. You don't get to put in order for kids. They come out, they hand them to you, it's yours. That's it, right? Can't put it back and say, oh, doctor, that one you have manufacturing problems, so take it back on a phone. Right? Because like I said, we know a decrease in childbirth affects the economy, but how about implementing ways so people can afford having more kids before actually having them? You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, like overpopulation affects the economy. So breeding up, having a bag of people, them no job, not being able to take care of them, overcrowding the healthcare system that is already overcrowded, understaffed, and under-equipped. Because that's what's going to happen. Because a lot of people won't be able to afford private healthcare because they already have suffer and have more kids on top of that. Because once again, it's low on the middle class. We have a breed up and populate, not the upper class that can afford to do all these things with ease. Private institution, all of that, right? Because at the end of the day, what got me is when them people here who can't care or support themselves have more kids, all they're going to do is depend on the government, and that in turn will burden the government system. That's all it's going to do. Add additional burden to the already burdened system. And then see the economy, birth rate is not the only thing that affects the economy. We talk about that. Why I don't understand, people are still having kids. It's not like people, because people still have kids. Me walk on the road and say, well, pregnant people all the time. People are still having kids. They're just not having them like carelessly as they would before. You know? Yeah, check to make sure that it's on coming out of this all over again, right? There are people are just more people are smarter now. People are more calculated in their decisions. People want better for themselves. People want higher level education. People want to travel. People want to have fun. People want to have things in place. So when their kids get here, they're okay. They're able to afford the big schools that you're able to afford. Their kids can be homeschooled privately just as yours are. You know, they don't have to go and stand up in the long line. I get up from 5 o'clock and go to clinic and I take a number. They can call, hi doc, I want to make an appointment, whatever. Okay, next week, Wednesday, 10 o'clock. You wake up, you take the day off from work, or maybe you don't, maybe you have your own job. You're an entrepreneur. So you'd be like, okay, so on my schedule, can take a nap, wake up for 10 o'clock appointment, go to your appointment, get through, go do your business, go take care of your stuff. You know, you can go online, you can shop for all the best baby products. You can do all that, have it out there. I try figure it out. I try go at home. Sometimes people, it's so bad, people go to the hospital and they don't have anything. And it's not like overseas where if you go to the hospital, they'll give you stuff and up a baby in a towel and they have diapers prepared. No, it's not like that here. So when you go to that, especially down the downtown, I don't want to call any names, right? When you go there, and you look a certain way or you come and you don't have certain stuff, they treat you according. Because I one thing, people prejudice. And I guess it's not just a here thing, it's an everywhere thing, but yeah, people prejudice. People treat you like when you look, people treat you like the stuff for them think you can afford. So there are so many things that I think needs to be addressed and things that needs to be worked on before we're out here encouraging people to just have these kids. Because the people that you are encouraging to have these kids are people that already have kids and are barely making ends meet with the kids that they already have. Can you see if it was a case to say you have to have kids and it was like it go for the people that can afford it? But could I situate, because I can't afford to have one and two kids. And I mean, you have one and one, two, maybe you can't have one and one, sure. But these people don't believe in having more than one or two kids. You are part of that. Uno people. Because I'm pretty sure you don't have more than two kids. I'm pretty sure the last time I saw an interview, your son was overseas. How many people kids can travel? How many people can afford to even pay for your passport? And passport is not that expensive. I won't even go visa. Pay for your passport for them kids. Hmm? But just to send them a travel. Oh, we're traveling every summer. Like, these people are trying to break generational curses. People are trying break trauma, all of these things. People want to create generational wealth. Just that's how you guys are trying to do. Stop encouraging people to do stuff that will be to the detriment of them. Yes, kids are a blessing, but it is also a sin to bring the child come here willingly and not being able to afford them, knowing that they will suffer. It is a sin to carry baby them come and make them suffer. Not to mention, guys, abortion is illegal in Jamaica. So you can halfway through you change your mind. Or quarter way through you. Or when you're able to, what stage them say you can, whatever stage that be, yeah, illegal for any stage, remember? So you can't start the process and turn back halfway, right? So these are things that you have to think about, guys. Planned pregnancy is the aim. Don't let nobody boots now. Or the economy will be just fine. Whatever things that man the economy recover, it will be fine. Not saying not to have kids. Of course have kids. Kids are the future. But plan for them. Put things in place to be able to afford these kids. Or that you don't have breed up. So them drive up in them big vehicle. Whenever gonna we go out a certain events and see them with them security. Come on, go to have security so. Man pull up in the latest BMW, the latest X6. No long me a walk, long time me, hey, you know me put that. Me a stray, right? I want to afford my kids all the things that I never had growing up. And nothing is wrong with that. That is what it should be. You want to do better by your kids. You want your kids to live the life that you never had. And if your mother did have 5 pitney at the age of 20 and you come up 4 at the age of 20, you know really, you know what I mean? Not much change. Each generation do better. That's the aim. That is the aim. And if you have a one baby, body not say rule. But allow that child to grow. Give that child the best you can give that child. Don't worry about people. Oh, one pitney and a pitney and let them tell. What is it? Fetus? What is it? A pet? One kid is a kid. Then go to school, they'll play. I'm gonna buy my son a bird. I'm gonna buy my son a pair of birds, and he can play with them. And whenever I want him, I'm gonna country, let him go with him because of them. Right? Don't be out here having kids until you can afford to have them. Kids aren't expensive. Kids are not cheap. And it is unfair to your kid to bring them into a world where they have to suffer. Hey, remember going to school, you know, and weekend come. And when Mr. Sunday come, me a fret per Monday, you know. Cause I say, bombard, look like, mommy not the money, no, come here. Mommy has some little things over the weekend. And me a fret, and me a wonder if me go to school Monday, come me a wonder if my daughter go have money to send me to school, and any landlord, he come and any landlord argue, cause she never have the money to pay the rent. And they say, mommy not the money to pay rent, that means she not have the money to me go to school. And me a fret, I'm stressed out. I'm lying around there. I'm a stress. Like, kids shouldn't have to worry about these stuff. That's not their responsibility, it's not their job. All kids should have to worry about is wake up, go to school, do your best. You have two little chores, and you have two little chores, and when you do go to school, you get rewarded. You know what I mean? The responsibilities of where you're going to live, what you're going to eat, financing, all of these things should not be a child's responsibility. It's yours as a parent. And these are things that you should take into consideration before bringing forth those kids. Anyways, we can debate this and talk about this the whole day because separation not cute. It's not. Separation is not nice. I can you imagine my baby come from school, my baby shoes front kick off. Me have to go try to sew it up to him back at school. Him a go to school, him have to beat him can't play. Cause if he play too hard, his shoe bottom drop off and he can't go to school for the rest of the week. Hmm? Uh-uh. It's 2026, no suffering of kids around here. We're giving the kids the best life. See in life, like what you want your kids. How about encouraging people? People get your kids passports from the age of 2, 1, even younger. Let these baby travel. Um, Create a list, a bucket list, or a vision board. Every summer you plan somewhere that you want to take the kids, let them explore and experience life. Plan every month you take your kids on a date, to treat your kids. You know, one time, at least once every year, you travel overseas, travel to a new country. What about stuff like that? Oh, yeah, your kids start planning from now. Oh, what college you want to go? What are the requirements that will be needed? You go to school. You come first, you get to tell mommy what it is that you want to do, whatever it is. You come first in the class, okay. You want to fly out for the summer, or you want an iPhone, or you want an iPad, talk to the baby. Let's encourage giving our kids the best, not just the bare minimum. Because they can afford to do all of these things for their kids. But yet still them to put the pressure of increasing the birth rate on lower and middle class people's back. And then what we make of the economy? As I say, I can debate the point here forever, ever, ever, ever. Because me now say I have kids, but I am going to say plan. Plan, 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 plan. Plan for these babies. Do not dare have these babies and have them out here suffering. I want to not suffer and pressure life take on, or not abuse them and hurt them and unalive them. Because y'all didn't plan for these babies, y'all can't afford these babies, y'all can't take the pressure that comes with caring for these babies. They need to talk about stuff like that and how mental health is not taken seriously. Right? How functional depression is a thing. Look here. Plan for the kids and take all of these things into consideration because these are real issues. Kids are blessings, I agree, and I love my little blessing. But my little blessing, if I want, everywhere you go with it, you want something. Yeah? If I have a million and one ties, and every single time we go on the road, I would him have the one tie 100 times. And yes, if I didn't want to buy it, he couldn't get it. But I want to be able to spoil him, and I'm happy that I'm able to afford to spoil him. Like, I am not passing on any trauma, any separation, not negative to my kid. Remember when you have to wait till Christmas and birthday come and gone and you alone remember know say your age. Your mother, yeah, how much again? Oh, and your birthday? We cancel all of that for 2026 people. Have the baby, give the baby the best life, and if you want another baby and you can afford another baby, okay, now you have 2 babies. But you have to be able to afford the 2 babies and search for the 2 baby them, right? Don't make nobody say number one pick and pick me a hoe. Not having a kid makes you less of a woman. 2026, be selfish. Live for you and the one where you have take care of you and go, plan cute trips, twin them and all of that. Go out, explore. Oh, breed up. Big back, big belly. Don't see the girl other than BBL. Look here. Be a plan for the kids and be able to afford the kids before you have them. Alright guys, so the sound wasn't recorded for the ending of my video. I'm not sure what happened, but as you can see, I was very passionate about the topic. So I did a go down in it, see? I go down in it. I don't know what I say, but I go down in it. Right? But just the sound just wasn't recorded. So I was ending the video anyways. So I'm pretty sure I was telling you guys toodaloo.